obviously calling with queens. Unlucky for him, but good for me. Hopefully I can hold there. Flop 2 pair and he checks for once in his life. So I'm going to bet 300. Shoving Jack 9 off here. I would shove Jack 9 off on most limpers. Heads up for about 10 big blinds. Here with King 10 suited, it's a little bit weird because I can't really raise call, and I hate raise folding in a spot I can profitably shove. And I'll fold my garbage hand for image there. Getting 2 point, just a bit better than 2.1. I think I should probably call here. It's pretty tight though. He's really aggressive. I think he can have enough trash. I think King 7 suited was like a beautiful hand for him there. This is tight. I'll just go with it. Yeah, okay. Nice thing about making that shove for me is that if he does fold, then I'm in a spot where I can just sort of keep shoving any two. If he happened to fold his button to me, that is. Yeah, he's 19% on the button and 25% in the small blind, so I have to wait for a pretty strong hand before I call him. So more than likely what's going to happen is I'm going to shove some trash and he's going to call me. I would almost always shove 1400 at T400 in the cutoff, but there's a guy with the same stack size as me. So again, it's a bit reckless. Just going to let Demon play with Jay Weezy. I'm not going to get involved with 6-2 off. I'm second in chips here, but 8s on the button is too strong to consider folding. Obviously I have to call it with any 2 here with only 200 behind. And I'm going to be fairly tight here on the button in this spot against 2 random kind of type players. Somewhere about 30%, maybe a tad more than 30% occasionally. So with my 50 chips and antes already in there, I'm committed to get it in. I definitely can't get involved here. This, hopefully, if Zienka knows what he's doing, he's got a very, very, very strong hand with Jay Weezy and I being so short. And again here, sometimes I'll shove Queen 4 off for 2k on the button, but with Dolly's Z so short, I'm just going to fold and let him do his thing. And again here, JSG only has to call 160 chips, so no point in getting involved with my trash. So this is about the bottom of my range for shoving on the button there, King 9 suited for 10 BBs. So I actually shoved 9-7 suited, which is a bit surprising. Wouldn't expect to see such a loose hand in his range. And here, since Dolly SZ is probably committed to calling me with any 2, I won't shove a hand as weak as Jack 7 off. I would shove here a lot, but I just don't have enough chips, I think, to have enough fold equity. Now I'm going to shove though. Open-ended dummy draw. So I have decent equity against his hand. And I do have the backdoor flush draw as well. I may be just a wimp by folding that. So since he did have 9-7 suited that other time, I think that tells me that he's going to have enough weak hands that make King 9 off a call. But, yeah, not so hot of a result there. This is kind of weird. This is almost like a bubble situation, but I think Queen 10 off is just a little bit too good to think about folding. This one I'm going to fold, though. I'm going to be waiting for a fairly strong hand before I shove this one. I wouldn't be shoving Queen 10 on the button in this spot. Jay Weezy trying to, I think, mess with me by limping a weak hand and shoving the flop and getting me to fold. Don't know why he limped King Jack there. Now I just do not want to see a turn card at all, or a river card, sorry. With my 2 pair, every single draw is out there. If he has me, he has me. So I'm in bet, kind of gave him the chance to get there with his gut shot, but not too concerned about it. So nice call there with Jack 9. Be nice to hold, maybe a couple times. Ugh. Thought we chopped that. Just under 2-1 with Jack 7 off. Insta call against everybody. And I'm going to be pretty aware of Jay Weezy's stack here, so I'm folding most hands. Almost everything. Because I know he's going to be blinded in the next hand. And getting better than 2-1 with 9-6, so I'm just going to go ahead and call. And he had 7-4, so that worked out. And I think the fact that he saw me call with Jack 9 is, and he mentioned that he said nice call, he could have been being sarcastic, but that tells me that he's going to call me fairly wide. So I'm probably not going to be jamming my total worst hands on him. So we're only down to 1 game here, so all we're looking to do is wait for Jay Weezy to blind off and then take whatever chips we can. Pretty good flop. Alright. Gets pretty frustrating to be in these spots and have the short stack be so short, and then have him win a flip or two and you end up bubbling. I think this has actually turned out to be a pretty decent session. I did lose a lot of hands that I was ahead in, but I was pretty lucky to get myself deep in as many games as I did. So that kind of made up for that. And I'm just going to be shoving any 2 here, usually. The only time I wouldn't shove any 2 in this spot is against a guy who I knew would just always call me way too loose. This is really tempting. I think I'm going to go with it with a third of my stack out there. It's pretty marginal. But I just did show down 8s, so I think I get some credit there. Thinking. And it's enough chips that it's hard just to call off with a trash hand. So that's just given me the chip lead. Where had I folded that, I'm in the big blind next hand with 6-2 suited, someone shoves and I'm forced to fold. And my stack is way down. So Zienka folds. I'd usually shove any 2 here. Generally speaking, most players don't call wide enough at all. So this is almost always going to be profitable, and with 7-5 suited, I'd be happy to shove even against really good players. So, just waiting to flip coins, I guess, really. I'm not going to shove this, but there are some opponents who would just be playing weak tight enough for me to go ahead and shove everything there. I do think something about my game, you guys may have noticed, there are spots that I have total trash hands, 6-2 off, 7-3 off, etc. that I could be shoving, could possibly be showing a profit, but I don't. And it's not just about image. I think I think a lot of poker players, especially people who play sit and goes, have that natural fear of shoving with complete garbage hands, even when they know that it's going to show them profit. But you can see how just being kind of aggressive is going to give you 8k in chips, like, no problem. Tempting to shove here, but I think Zyunka's going to call me with everything. I think Dolly's going to shove most hands, and Zyunka's going to call him off pretty wide. So I'm with the trash hand, I'm kind of happy to let them just butt heads and hope that Dolly loses. And bonus for me, this kind of feels like I've been just gifted into second place. Didn't really have to do anything and just let others bonk heads. Now he's going to shove, and I'm in a spot where I have a good chance to win. Unless he goes backdoor sevens on me. Ooh. And I think I'll just shove any two on him here. But I do like to mix in folds occasionally just for sake of image. And really pumped to get it in with king queen off here. Oh. So yeah, he's stealing 75% from the small blind. So I can assume that once he's heads up, he's shoving most of his hands. Oops. Too bad. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it was quite fast, and there are probably a lot of spots that I talked about that couldn't even be mentioned. You might have to go through it and pause it a few times, but I do appreciate you guys spending your time with me, and I'll see you soon.